Yeah, yeah, yo, hey baby.
Ghettomystic, aquatic, triplistic.
I was just admiring your aura.
Oh well,
Yeah, it's so ethereal.
Yeah, and thank you once again for tuning in to A Day in the Life of the Ghetto Mystic. I am Orca Raptalon, also known as the Ghetto Mystic, and today we're kind of going to depart from what I've been doing, just videotaping my particularly beautiful mug for you guys. And I'm just going to do some audio with some beautiful visualization to represent Pisces. And this particular part is going to be a two-parter, partially because I got banned for posting a beautiful gift for my cancer dark heart. This Lacey Birdie. Yeah, it was just a picture, kind of like a changeling of a deer, a deer being transforming to a woman, and then her running off. Now it showed a little bit of brief nudity, but nothing that's not in taste, nothing that's worse than anything I've seen on Facebook. So I didn't understand why I got banned. So of course I contested it, and lo and behold, we made a mistake. So I often sacrifice myself and sacrifice my ability to talk to people, to the world, just based on my beliefs and what I feel. Like, I don't feel that love is something that is destined for just one person, between two people. It could be between more than two people. It could be between a man and a woman and a woman, a man and a man and a woman, a man who's transitioning to being a woman who's transitioning to being a man. Love is a very, very powerful thing. Love is a doing word. It's an action word. And so what better day to talk about love, okay? Love days, excuse me, because remember this is a two-parter. What better days to talk about love than February 24th, which is between 4 and 6 degrees Pisces, mutable water, the 24th day of February, the day of sacrifice, and February 25th, firmly between 5 degrees and 7 degrees water, mutable water, February 25th day of February, the Orca Raptalon, or the Ghetto Mystic's birthday day, Eve, the day of the higher cause. So we're going to combine both of those into one today, and we're going to talk about both of them. And I'm going to give you why I combined them. It's two very special days to me. First of all, like I said, we're coming right up on the day of the Reality Masters, which is February 27th. And that day means a lot to me. But the 24th, it's not a day that I could particularly just ramble off somebody who's close to me. I'm pretty sure it's probably somebody. They're going to be like, I was born that day. You ain't say nothing about me. But February 25th is the birthday of my brother, Don Aguilar. Happy birthday to you, bro. You're like the brother / father / mentor I never knew existed, and I'm happy that we connected together. But he was born on the day of the higher cause, and I did his reading today. Just gave him a reading, basically what I'm gonna read to you guys about that day, and it kind of rang true. A lot of it did. He's into community-based agriculture, sort of like myself. He does all he can for the homeless. He tries to do all he can for the homeless. Even though I'm not a Christian and could never be a Christian, he is very, very devoted to his faith. These are all things that I find positive, as far as maybe not the message so far, maybe not the message so much, you know what I mean? As I said, I'm not a Christian, and I have my own issues with monotheistic, the monotheistic three: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. But I also see the validation. I also see validity in some of the mysticism in those religions. And if I did steer towards or try to learn more about those religions, I've read the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah back and forth. But if I was to delve into those religions in any real shape, form, or fashion, it would always be from the form of their mysticism, the mysticism part, the parts that connect to astrology, the parts that connect to the pagan rituals that came before them. But happy birthday to you, Don, the 25th of February. When I'm recording both the 24th and the 25th, the day of sacrifice and the day of the higher cause. Now, the next day I'll do that on is, of course, going to be leap year day. Luckily, I did this on leap year day. That's the one day of the year that if there was another day that I wish I was born, it would have been leap year day, because leap year day gets to be 2 days. You get to be February 28th, the day of zest, and February 29th, that is. You get to be February 29th, the day of eternal youth, and you get to be March 1st, the day of artistic sensibilities. If there's anybody that's more crazy than us, than a leap year baby, Pisces must be something to behold. But yeah, we'll talk more about that on that day. Let's get into the 2 days that I'm combining into one, simply because of the names, kind of, and the fact that I was banned. But luckily, it worked out. It was kismet. February 24th. Let's start there. The day of sacrifice. Sacrifice is pivotal in the theme of those born on February 24th, and it can manifest in a variety of ways. Those born on this day often sacrifice their own concerns to a cause, parental wishes, or desires of a mate or family. Typically, they themselves demand a great degree of sacrifice from others, particularly loved ones. The theme may also reoccur in more abstract or philosophical forms, where sacrifice becomes a kind of acceptance of life as it is, a sacrifice of the ego, so to speak. In the best cases, this is a true unselflessness and a desire to work for the common good. Those February 24th people who choose to sacrifice themselves to a larger purpose or the wishes of a group do so with anything from a blissful joy to an austere, even grim sense of duty. In the former case, they sincerely believe in what they do, and the happiness or well-being of others is a personal reward. In the latter case, though they may act out of firm moral or ethical convictions, they can harbor deep resentment due to the frustrated demands of their ego. Such frustration building up over a long period of time, one day bursts out and leads these February 24th people to reject the responsibilities placed on them. Many 24th of February people seek to reduce the presence of their ego, perhaps even getting rid of it altogether, in the pursuit of a more pure lifestyle. The danger here is, of course, that they could in some way be deluding themselves. It may not be possible to get rid of one's ego when it is not yet fully formed. The more highly evolved of the February 24th people are aware of this trap and steer clear by strengthening the positive aspects of their personality and judging themselves by objective standards whenever possible. Yet, other February 24th people accept everything that fate sends their way, believing that their misfortune is somehow a confirmation of a higher state. Remember, they say Pisces is the sign of sorrows. February 24th people must find a way to work for the common good, or perhaps please their parents and society without compromising their own beliefs and desires. More than most, those born on this day must be very sure of their wishes and unafraid of communicating them. If they have grown overly accepting of compromise in less than ideal circumstances, or a self-image that is not up to their talents and abilities, they run the risk of building a set of negative or self-fulfilling prophecies into their outlook, which determine their future as well. If they one day wish to again take control of their lives, they may find the going rough, as they will be swimming against an undertow of ingrained habits and expectations. Steady progress, willpower, resolute conduct, determination, guts, these are qualities that February 24th people must have in place before they begin to make any major sacrifice. Also, sharing love from a position of strength rather than weakness proves more satisfying in the long run. So now normally this is where I get into the numbers and the health and the tarot card and meditation. Instead, we're going to go directly into February 25th so you can see how they kind of correlate to each other. Once again, February 25th, day of my homie Don Aguilar is called the Day of the Higher Cause. Now, this one, again, is a situation where we're talking about February 24th dawning into February 25th. Very, very close in relation. If you heard the themes of both of these actual days. Although those born on February 25th are often formidable individuals in their own right, they only reach their full potential when giving their all for a cause greater than themselves. Those born on this day have a large measure of confidence and self-respect, but generally believe that universal goals have greater meaning than personal ones. Also, They intuit that by plugging into a higher cause, their own power will only be magnified. Not infrequently, February 25th people come into conflict with those around them. That they are critical of social mores is not surprising, since they see society as being in constant flux and turmoil, perhaps unworthy of a deep commitment. As children, February 25th people often rebel quite openly against their parents and other authority figures and react emotionally to what they perceive to be injustice. Because they often do not find peace with themselves until later in life, their adolescence and early adult years can be stormy. In their late 30s or 40s, February 25th people usually deepen their commitment to a worthy interest, perhaps art, philosophy, religion, or an ideal of what humanity could be at its very best. Once an interest of this kind takes hold of them, they will devote ever increasing time and effort to it, publicly, privately, or both. However, it is usually a happier state of affairs when they do not depart from their pre existing life, but build on it in a healthy, organic way. Those born on this day have no time for meanness or pettiness of any sort. They may evince a regal bearing themselves and do things with a grand gesture, yet rarely adopt a condescending or elitist attitude. The most successful of February 25th people are thus able to communicate their high ideas and sense of purpose to others. The less evolved of this day may fail to convince others of their sincerity and therefore be perceived as proselytizing and claiming types. The success and indeed happiness of February 25th people is often in direct proportion to their ability to communicate without arousing antagonism. In the worst case, they may come to feel self pity and frustration through being misunderstood. Giving is generally more important for February 25th people than receiving, but they must be sensitive to the fact that those on whom they bestow their gifts may be less than eager to receive them. Instead, toughening their stance and adopting a more no nonsense attitude based on mutual exchange may be a more subtle approach for them and ultimately a healthier way of relating to others. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go backwards, back to February 24th, and talk about the planets. Those born on February 24th are ruled by the number 6. 2 plus 4 equals 6, and by the planet Venus. Those ruled by the number 6 are magnetic in attracting love and admiration, and since Venus is strongly connected with social interactions, it may be a temptation for February 24 people to give themselves over to the easy pursuit of pleasure and become objects of adoration. The combined influence of Venus and Neptune, which is Pisces ruler, can lend February 24th people an ultra romantic and magnetic charm, but also weaken their sense of personal and social reality. Often, love becomes the dominant theme in their lives, those ruled by the number 6. Now, back to the 25th. Those born on the 25th day of the month are ruled by the number 7. 2 plus 5 equals 7, and by the planet Neptune, whose province is mystical and religious states. Such metaphysical influences are magnified by February 25th people because they are also ruled by the planet Neptune being Pisces. The number 7 people normally enjoy change and travel, but since 25 has associations with danger, those born on the 25th must be vigilant to avoid accidents. And I had to tell Don, he's always getting into some type of, he has to be more careful, man. And this is, like I said, when I say things speak true, they speak true. Now, those born on February 24th, they represent the tarot card, the Lovers, which symbolizes unity of all humanity through integration of masculine and feminine polarities. Of the good side of this card is affections and desires on a high moral, aesthetic, and physical plane. The bad side, unfulfilled desires, sentimentality, and indecisiveness. For February 25th, people were talking about the Chariot, who shows a figure moving through the world, manifesting its physical presence in a dynamic way. The card may be interpreted to mean no matter how narrow and precarious the path, one must continue on it. The good sides is success, talent, and efficiency. The bad sides are a dictatorial attitude and a poor sense of direction. All right, so that was the tarot cards and the planets. Let's talk about the health for February 24th people. Those born on February 24th tend to relax in an easy life of sensuality and relative inaction. They must therefore beware of sedentary disorders affecting the legs, circulatory system, and lymphatics. Because of their self-sacrificing nature and propensity to create negative expectations, they may eventually arouse resentment or anger in themselves or others. For February 24th, people, love relationships become the be all end all of existence. Therefore, those born on this day must be particularly aware of dependencies of sex and love addictions. Sensual food enjoyment and gratifying sexual activities are naturally important for their continued happiness, but would be they would do well to limit their diet, both in richness and quantity, and perhaps structure their emotional life in a more healthy, productive fashion. The meditation for February 24th, people, is learn to stick up for what's real to you. Don't expect or respond so readily to the suggestions of or wishes of others. Be argumentative. The advice given to February 24th, people, learn to stick up for the real you. Don't respond so readily to suggestions or wishes of others. Augment your talents and your willpower. Resist temptations of ego massage. The meditation is many tragedies are enacted in the name of love. All right, so people that were born on that day, uh, let's see, who do I have here? Somebody I know. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola, Italian philosopher, United Hamitic and Jewish Kabbalist tradition. Who else? That's a good one for my dark heart. Let's see here. Renata Scotto, Italian opera soprano. Edwards James Olmos. Who else? Who else we got here? Yeah. Like I said, I could go into it deeper, but yeah, that's two people that just come off the top of my head that I could think of. Um, the strength that you guys have is that you're giving, open, and accepting. Your weaknesses is that you're self-absorbed, demanding, and static. All right, so let's do the health of February 25th, the health advice, meditation, and strengths of February 25th, people. Those born on February 25th lead very active, unconscious lives. Sleep is extremely important to them, and in particular, adequate dream time. Therefore, sleep disturbances must be eliminated as much as possible. The consequences of an unconscious unable to work through problems are irritability, grouchiness, and a low threshold for stress in waking life. February 25th, people tend to ignore food or revel in it, so they will benefit from working out a systematic diet which ensures proper nutrition. Physical exercise is helpful in grounding those born on this day, and those activities with a high spiritual component such as dancing, yoga, tai chi, and the martial arts are highly recommended.
The advice that they give for February 25th, people: be your own person, but consider the wishes of others. Concentrate on improving yourself also. Don't be too needy of admiration. Respect belief different from your own. Meditation they give is that the brain is both transmitter and receptor. Your gifts, strength that is, faithful, devotional, and giving. Your weaknesses are that you're over-involved, rebellious, and unrealistic. Sally Jesse Raphael was born on this day. Um, who else was born on this day? Thurston Howell III, the guy who played Thurston Howell III, Jim Backus, was born on this day. He also played Mr. Magoo. George Harrison of the Beatles was also born on this day. So with that being said, man, that has been February 25th, February 24th, both the day of the sacrifice for the 24th and the day of the higher cause for the 25th. I have been your host, Orca Raptorline, also known as the Ghettomystic. Stay tuned for tomorrow, the 26th of February, which is the day of arousal. And also, Orca Raptorline, a.k.a. Ghettomystic's birthday eve. February 27th, the day of the Reality Masters. Peace.
Deeper, deeper, I'm falling through abyssal space. charts off the meter. Your heavenly body's all in place, terrestrial to the ethers. I long for your aquatic embrace. Inferno fever, evaporate without a trace. It's a day in the life of the Ghettomystic. Oh, and if you turn, then you might have